We're talking about conflicts at the most basic level, at a level people usually don't discuss. People usually jump into higher matters, but I'll repeat a very simple rule: no strength, no life, no energy, no relationships. Remember this rule? And 80% of people on Earth, not just in this city but worldwide, are lacking energy. Moreover, I'll tell you this: when a person lacks energy, they go through certain stages of character degradation. The first stage of energy deficiency looks different in men and women. In women, typical feminine flaws begin to appear: touchiness, laziness, heightened sensitivity, irritability, suspiciousness, restlessness, anxious thoughts. These are common feminine character traits that emerge. In men, typical masculine flaws arise: rudeness, stubbornness, inner tension, inability to relax or rest. They become quick-tempered, mentally obsessive. Sexual instability appears. They start chasing women. These are standard male deficiencies that point to a lack of energy. Then comes the next stage of degradation. When a woman becomes energetically depleted, she begins to resemble a man. She becomes rough, emotionally cold, and loses interest in household tasks. She wants to work because it gives her psychological relief. At home, she feels like she's working non-stop. But a man works at work and rests at home. What does a woman want from her job? She wants interaction, relationships, something enjoyable or interesting. She doesn't want to work in the usual sense. She wants to enjoy life there. That's why she looks for work that brings her pleasure and helps her recover. In that state, she's no longer able to manage household duties, so she throws herself into her job. Why? Because she's reached that level of depletion. The man at the second stage can no longer work. He stays home. At this level, men develop bad habits, start drinking. That's the second stage of energy deficiency. A man loses self-control. At this stage, a woman becomes emotionally cold. She becomes lonely. And a man develops harmful habits. There's also a third and even a fourth level of energy deficiency. At the third level, a woman becomes so emotionally sensitive that she can no longer build relationships with men, and if she reaches this level during puberty, she may even change her gender. A man also becomes unable to connect with women. His willpower becomes very weak, and he begins to engage in sexual relationships with other men. And I don't even want to talk to you about the fourth level, because people completely lose the ability to interact with other humans. They become so energetically depleted that they get themselves dogs and live with them instead, and such people are already starting to appear. Maybe they'll even create a new gender, I don't know what exactly. But depleted people still have to live somehow. They don't realize they need nature, so they construct some kind of substitute life. Total lack of water energy leads to alcoholism. Lack of air energy leads to smoking and drinking coffee. Lack of solar energy leads to drug use and gambling. And these energy deficiencies aren't really bad habits. For example, if someone who lacks air energy doesn't smoke, they could have a heart attack or stroke. From sheer inner tension, their body may start shutting down. They need a way to release that pressure. In that sense, smoking acts like a medicine for them. But if this person starts doing prolonged, continuous movement on a set schedule, after using such a simple method for 8-9 months, their energetic system recovers, and they quit smoking easily. If someone goes swimming and practices static exercises over time, they stop drinking because their psychic system gets restored. When a person fasts, they begin to draw in the energy of the sun. Fasting allows a person to be nourished by sunlight instead of food. Just like leaves and plants feed on sunlight, the human body can also be nourished by the sun when there's no food. And a person becomes more joyful while fasting. For example, if I eat in the evening and don't eat again until noon the next day, that's a 16-hour break. This allows me to feel the joy of the rising sun. The body gradually adjusts. Once you get used to not eating in the morning, you stop wanting food in the morning. That's a sign you've started absorbing solar energy. You feel very productive, in a good mood. You need to learn how to draw in the energy of the sun into your body, especially as you get older, because small children absorb energy very easily. They don't experience depletion. They can run outside in the cold without issue. They can be in the sun all day and feel fine, because their bodies are still growing and using up energy rapidly. But adults become depleted, and that breaks everything down in their lives. Lack of water energy leads to sensitivity and irritability. Women get offended, men get angry, constant tension in relationships. Lack of air energy creates coldness in relationships. No love, like a wall, appears between people. Lack of sun energy leads to a lack of positive perception. There are 3 layers to life. The first layer is the psychophysical or energetic layer, which is replenished by the energy of nature. Once during a lecture, a husband and wife said, "Dr. Torsunov, we feel cold toward each other. We don't feel close. We don't know why we're even together. The astrologer told us that we are not compatible." I'm not even surprised by astrologers anymore. They often help destroy families, have to make a living somehow. They have to say something to scare people. What did I suggest to them? I said, "You attend my lectures. Why not take a walk in the park for an hour before the lecture? Just hold hands and stroll together." 3 days later, they came back and said, "Everything between us is back to normal." That's how serious this issue can be in life and how easily it can be solved. For example, if you constantly argue, try swimming together in a pool. Within a month, your relationship will improve by 50%. Of course, not everything can be solved with energy-based methods, but a lot can. Can 2 hungry people be happy together? But with 2 well-fed ones, the odds are better. There's energetic hunger and there's physical hunger. Wife, give me food. That's a serious topic too. If she doesn't feed him, he thinks, she doesn't love me. It's important to understand that food is necessary, but energetic hunger is the main problem in modern culture today, the main one. So we take the guidebook, start doing static exercises, get into long walks, fast, and follow a daily routine. Because if you wake up late, your water energy evaporates. The sun rises, and you're still lying in bed. Your water energy evaporates. You wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and irritability increases significantly. If you stay up late and then wake up late, you'll go to bed late again, and then your air energy decreases. If you went to bed late, your willpower begins to suffer. You lack willpower. You can't accomplish your goals in life. You can't make yourself do anything. You have no energy, no focus. You can't remember things or concentrate. Naturally, when a person is overworked, they also want to release emotional tension because they can't go to bed in a bad mood. They simply can't fall asleep. So to lift their mood, people start eating at night. As a result, excess weight. Excess weight comes only from evening meals, nothing else. After 6 p.m., you shouldn't eat many foods anymore because your body will start to accumulate a lack of solar energy. The sun plays a major role in digestion. In fact, solar energy is what digests and absorbs food. In the evening, the sun sets, it's no longer there. So there's nothing to help with digestion. And what is excess weight? It's undigested food. It's an incomplete digestive cycle. Why is it incomplete? There's no energy left to finish it. If a person eats late at night, everything turns into fat. Fat is the first stage. Benign tumors are the second stage. Malignant tumors are the third. If you have excess fat, expect benign tumors. And if you already have benign tumors, expect malignant ones. These are the 3 stages of sun energy deficiency in the body. That's how it manifests physically. In relationships, it shows up differently. A man and a woman no longer find each other attractive. There's no beauty, no love. Love is the energy of beauty. Beauty means a person filled with the energy of the sun, radiant and joyful. Joyfulness is the form that sun energy takes in relationships. It's the energy of beauty. That's the second stage. No beauty means no joy in the relationship. The third stage is disillusionment. Then, of course, people feel the need to go to an astrologer again to hear that they're incompatible, but in reality, they're just out of energy. Let's turn to ancient culture and listen to a song to understand how people in traditional societies filled each other with solar energy. What do you see when you go outside now? Skyscrapers, cars. Do you see people? They all feel like strangers. No one talks. No one greets each other. In ancient cultures, when people went out, they would greet one another. They would gather in the evenings. There were no TVs, no bloggers either. Everyone would go outside. You receive the energy of the sun outside, but then you need to give it back. How do you give it back? By feeling joy. If you don't express joy, you'll overheat. If you see beautiful women on the street, you heat up. You need to release that. If you don't, you'll burn up. You've filled yourself with energy. What comes next? Relationships. Without energy, there are no relationships. You see the sequence? No energy, no relationships. Got it? So check what you're missing. If you're constantly arguing, it means you lack the energy of water. If you feel frozen and distant, then you need prolonged, continuous movement. And if you feel disillusioned with each other, it means there's a lack of solar energy. You need to learn to enjoy people again, wish others happiness, and start fasting. And stop eating at night. Late night eating depletes solar energy severely.
May I ask a question? So I understand, don't eat at night. Does that mean no eating after 6 p.m.?
Yes.
And until when? In the morning also no eating?
Not in the morning, not in the afternoon. Never stuff yourself. Why should you avoid eating in the morning too? Well, evenings can be okay, but you need to understand this. Some foods require a lot of solar energy to digest, and some don't. For example, meat, fish, eggs, grains, beans, and dairy products require a lot of sun energy. But vegetables, fruits, dried fruits, greens, nuts, and non-grain-based cereals like buckwheat, quinoa, millet, and amaranth don't require much sun energy. You can eat those foods at night and still feel full without problems.
And should I wake up early in the morning?
Yes, you need to go to bed by 10 p.m. and wake up no later than 6 a.m. If you go to bed after 10 p.m., your willpower starts to get depleted. You'll end up wandering around the apartment watching action movies. Of course, women don't watch action movies. They watch some kind of Santa silliness. Everyone has their thing. Everyone watches something. Women need love. Men need victory. That's why a man watches Schwarzenegger. I told you I'd let you go. You did. Okay? And then boom, he throws them. Something like that.
How should we eat in the evening?
You need to understand something. You're asking the wrong question right now. First, you need to address your water energy deficiency. You have a serious internal overheating going on. That overheating pushes you to overeat at night or have excessive sex or drink wine. One of those three is bound to happen. But if you start going to the pool and doing static exercises, all of that will stop. When you come home from work in the evening, take a shower or better take a bath, and you'll feel immediate relief. You'll realize the problems aren't as bad as they seemed. A lack of water energy also causes irritability, not just at home. Maybe it's not so noticeable at home, but at work, it hits hard because all that energy is channeled into work. If you have a strong water energy deficit, you'll tear everyone apart at work. You've got a lot of energy, you're a strong person, you just need water. When the body is overheated, you need to stand under the shower.
And can bathing or swimming help with that?
Yes, a bath at 28 degrees Celsius for 70 minutes will cleanse the entire subtle energy body. At 22 degrees, it takes 40 minutes.
So just keep the water temperature cool in the bathtub?
Yes, I won't go into the technical details now. It's all written in the manual. It's 100 pages. Read it, study it, and start applying it. This lecture isn't about body cleansing. It's about relationships. So I'll close this topic now and move on to the next one. Because conflict has many causes, not just a lack of energy, but it's one of the main reasons, which is why I've spent a lot of time on it. Is the topic clear? Continue studying. You now understand there's a problem. Now you need to learn how to solve it. That means studying the method, applying it, and seeing results. This includes healing even deep emotional wounds. We can tell ourselves, he hurt me so deeply and I didn't hurt him nearly as much. That's why I'll stay offended forever. But if you simply start sitting in water, that feeling of hurt becomes much weaker, and if you sit in cold water, it lessens even more. Offense is a sign of water energy deficiency. When there's enough, a person responds more calmly. They don't get as offended. Remember that old joke? I was on one side of the river, my father was on the other, and someone smacked me in the head with an oar. Why did he do that? Listen, this is someone who has a lot of water energy. You can't shake him at all. He hit me with an oar. I didn't even touch him. He doesn't get offended. He's just surprised. Why did he do that? He wonders. He doesn't hold a grudge.
If kids don't want to go outside, should we force them?
That's part of modern culture now.
They say they're bored.
Yes, kids are given gadgets. And they just sit there with their gadgets and slowly fade away. That gadget replaces life, but they need to grow, run, jump. You've got to enroll kids in sports activities.
What if there's nothing nearby? We'd have to drive really far.
Then go outside yourselves. Walk with your child. Go out, walk, run, play around. Every child loves fresh air if you engage them. Buy them a scooter, a bike, anything, so they can ride around near you.
It doesn't help.
Well then, let them stay on their gadget and become a blogger. Just kidding. Next topic. There are 3 layers of life. The first is energetic, the second is social, and the third is spiritual. In each of these layers, if people don't understand what to do, conflict arises. A conflict simply means that I don't understand something. I argue with my wife. Conflict. With my mother. Conflict. With my daughter, my son. Conflict. That doesn't mean he's a jerk or I'm a jerk. People think, there's a conflict. Who's the jerk here? Let's figure it out. No, A conflict means I'm missing some understanding. That's it. Nothing more. It just means I don't understand the other person. Let's say there's a conflict. A woman is 81 years old. Her life is nearing its end. She's becoming very irritable and there's tension. Why don't you understand that she doesn't have much time left? Give her your love. Don't react to her irritability. That's the misunderstanding. That's the whole conflict. What do you expect from someone who is nearing the end of their life? What can you expect from them? They just need help to live out their days. You can't expect anything from someone who no longer has strength. Or let's say a person is walking and suddenly stops. Then walks again and suddenly says, I forgot. That's a disruption in pranic energy. It's a sign of aging. Such a person needs prolonged continuous movement to restore balance. Alzheimer's disease indicates a deficiency in prana energy. What's needed is just prolonged continuous movement and things will start functioning properly again. There's no point in mocking such a person. It's just the result of an unhealthy lifestyle. Now the next layer of life, the social layer. The first rule, if there is no energy, do not get involved in relationships. No energy, no relationship. When a little child screams and you give them what they want, they'll still scream. You have to resolve the energy issue. There are cases like this. You need to sleep. If people don't get enough sleep, there won't be a happy and harmonious family. You have to sleep as much as your body needs. If someone doesn't get enough rest, they'll become irritable, just like a child. When a person is hungry, they become irritable. It's a lack of energy. When there's a lack of natural energy, you need to take the child outside. So once again, if there's no energy, there are no relationships. Now let's move on to the next topic, social relationships. To understand this topic, we need to understand a simple thing. What does a person actually want? Let's say you moved in with a woman, you married her. What you want from her, that's obvious even to a horse. No one needs to explain that to you. But what does she want? That's the real question. Or let's say you married a man. What you want from him, no explanation needed. But what does he want? And to understand who wants what, we need to dive a little deeper into the purpose of human birth. Why are people born, male or female? A person has three energies. There's the energy of eternity. Everyone wants to live, both men and women. But that's not the reason someone is born in a particular body. Then there's the energy of love, or relationships, or the desire to enjoy life. When a person has a strong desire for love, relationships, and enjoyment of life in their psyche, they are born as a woman. The third energy is the energy of knowledge. Eternity, happiness, and knowledge. These are the three eternal needs. A person always wants to live. They always want love. Can people live without love? As the song goes, people can't live without love. Even an hour without it is a lost hour. We feel good when we love, even if we're not loved back. People can't live without love. Do we need knowledge? Why can't a person fall asleep at night? Why not? They lack knowledge. They keep thinking, unsure of what to do. Everything seems off. And they keep thinking. The lack of knowledge prevents them from falling asleep. What else do people want? They want to live, they want love, and they want to know. They want to know what's going to happen. In other words, people seek knowledge. The energy of knowledge is also the energy of victory, of overcoming obstacles. It's the same thing. Knowledge is attained through personal accomplishment. A person must reach it, achieve it. When a person desires knowledge, they are born in a male body. If they desire love, they're born in a female body. If they desire life, they are simply born. There's no life without birth. What does it mean to go deeper? For example, can you love an angry person? No. What about an angry dog? Can you love it? How can you love it when it's aggressive? So to love, the being has to not be angry. If it's always angry, can you love it? No? Okay, you didn't get the question. I'll explain it another way. A little girl, very young, is constantly looking at people and showing with her behavior, I'm good, I'm kind, I'm not mean. Why does she do that? Because she needs love. She needs harmony with everyone. She was born for love. She wants to enjoy relationships. She wants people to look at her, to see how pretty she is. And even though she's only 1 year old, she's already acting like that, posing, batting her eyes, showing everyone how sweet she is, right? Would a boy act the same way to show he's good? Does he show it? No, he doesn't care. His mom asks him, are you a good boy? He says no. Who has a boy like that? Raise your hand. He says, no, I'm not good. Because he doesn't need that. So what does he need? A boy needs to achieve things because he is born to win. A boy is born to accomplish, to achieve his goals. A man needs to attain his purpose in life, while a woman needs happiness, comfort, love, relaxation, and pleasure.
What if a girl says, I'm bad?
That's very bad. It means her feminine essence is suffering. It's not just little girls. An adult woman can say, I'm bad. That means she won't get married. To get married, she first has to understand that she is beautiful. She should look in the mirror and think, my God, I'm so beautiful, and those fools just don't notice it. Raise your hands, ladies, who thinks like that? See, everything's fine. That means your brain is working. It's really self-suggestion. She looks in the mirror and says, I'm beautiful, look at me. I'm beautiful. Can't you understand? And a man just stands there speechless. This connection happens through the heart. She's constantly proving to everyone that she's beautiful. That's why she has to be good, because a bad person can't be beautiful. A girl wants to always be good, to be in harmony with everyone. Now imagine a man or husband says to a woman, you're bad. What happens then? Will she ever accept that? Raise your hand, ladies, who believes they could accept being told they're bad. Not a single one. Can you really think of yourself as bad?
I can.
Did your mom tell you that? Who says that to you?
My boyfriend.
Your boyfriend says that? Well then, come up here. Oh, what a lovely lady. Let me give you a little tangerine. I wish you more happiness. Who says you're bad? Just look, such a good girl. Go ahead and take your seat. Do you like that he says that to you?
I hurt his feelings.
Do you feel disappointed in him when he says you're bad? I think he says it because he's going through something difficult. So not because you're bad, but because he's struggling. A woman simply can't see herself as bad. Her brain just doesn't compute that. A woman is always good. And if she's acting badly, then it's your fault somehow. Isn't that right, ladies? Got it, men? Do you understand how this system works? A tiger and tigress are sitting together, husband and wife. They've had a fight. The tigress says, so, are you going to apologize? The tiger replies, let me just get in the right mood. She says, okay, I'll wait. Some time passes. She asks, well, are you ready? He says, yes. She says, apologize. The tiger turns to her and says, forgive me, my dear, that you bit me. What am I saying here? I'm talking about relationships, about the right kind of relationship between a man and a woman. Proper relationship means a woman cannot be bad. She may be struggling, she may be going through a hard time, she may have health issues, but she's still good. Because if a woman is considered bad, there's no possibility of building a relationship with her. In other words, if a woman is bad, then she simply won't engage with you. That's it. She can't be bad. She's always good. Is that clear? Men are nodding with difficulty.
But what if the husband says all these bad things, lists off every flaw, lazy, this, that?
So you're complaining to me, right? Let me give you a tangerine. Come on. That'll be your second one. She's such a good one. How could she be bad? She's good, see? That's it. She's good, right? You're good. He just doesn't get it, but that's okay. He'll understand eventually. Ladies, now you need to start breathing very deeply. So, are you good? Yes, we've accepted that you are good. Now you need to breathe very deeply. Because you're going to have to accept something too. Men don't care whether they're good or not. That's not something they need. Women are good. And men are always right. Yes, keep breathing deeper now. Because, my dears, relationships between men and women have a feminine nature. Relationships are not a masculine function, and it's you who build them. If you can't manage your relationships, you'll end up alone, and for a long time. But if a man can't manage a relationship, he won't end up alone. He'll just find another woman, a good one. That's why a woman needs to understand how a man's psyche works. A man can't be wrong. If she thinks he's wrong, she's destroying the relationship. Because a man will never love a woman who believes he's wrong. It's just not possible. For love to flow between a man and a woman, the woman must be good, and the man must be right.
But what if the man says she's not good?
And the woman says he's not right, then conflict begins. Which is exactly our topic today. So what then? Someone has to be wiser. The smart ones got smart partners, and you got me. But someone still has to be wiser. What do you think? Who should be wiser? Who should be wiser in your family?
The one who came to your lecture.
Exactly. You need to be the wiser one, because you have the knowledge now. So you say, you're right. The solution is always a leap into the unknown. And that leap is what allows things to turn around. It's unexpected, and I'll explain technically how it works. A man has two mental states. One is a state of generosity, the other is a state of stinginess. The stingy state, or the war state, is one state. The other is peace. He can't live in between. He's always pushing towards something. So if you want to live in harmony with a man, you must always lead him into a state of generosity and peace. And for that, you need to be very wise. That's why you say, "You're right." And he enters the state of generosity. And what does he say to you?
Oh, you sweet thing one.
Yes, oh, you sweet thing. That's right. The relationship begins to mend. Does a woman want to be right? She wants to be good. And a man wants to be right. So share that with each other. Be wiser.
Then why should he ever apologize if he's always right?
If the woman's a fool, he should apologize. But seriously, a man apologizes because he's wise. He comes and apologizes. I always apologize to my wife because I always see her as good. I come and say, "Forgive me." She says, "I won't forgive you." I say, "Why not?" She says, "Because in your lectures you say that when you come to apologize, you don't think you're actually guilty. You just want me to forgive you." I say, "Well, this time I do think I'm guilty." I lie. She says, "Okay, then I forgive you." And then she starts telling me why she was upset. Only then do I start to understand what I did wrong. Only after the conflict is over can you actually understand what happened. Remember that? Here's the next rule. For a conflict to end, what must happen? Someone has to take the leap into the unknown. Either the man says, "You're good," or the woman says, "You're right." And both are very difficult to say, because when a woman is acting up, a man doesn't believe she's good, but he must still come to her and say, "You're good." For a woman to consider a man right, what does she need? She needs to love him. How does a woman's psyche work? Let's say she's fallen in love. Whatever he says, she agrees. He asks, "Do you like pilots?" She says, "Yes." And she's never even thought about it before. But she's convinced she likes pilots because he's a pilot and she loves him. When a woman loves someone, she naturally aligns with his way of thinking. That's natural for her. And when a man loves a woman, she's always good in his eyes, even when she's moody. Whatever she does, she's still my sweetheart, because he loves her. And when a woman loves, then the man is always right. I love him, so he must be right. But love loses its strength over time. Then people must begin to act through understanding. They need to realize that conflict means I'm misunderstanding something. Just like a man has a state of generosity and a state of stinginess, a woman has a state of love and a state of no love. And this is very important to understand. Some men think that if she loves, she'll always love, and if she doesn't, she always doesn't love him. But that's not how it works for a woman. A woman lives either in a state of love or a state of no love. For example, a man does something wrong and she thinks, "I don't love him," and she's 200% sure of it. Then he does something right and she thinks, "I love him." It's completely sincere. Can this flip-flop happen with a man? No, if he loves, he loves. If not, he says, "Get lost." Then she says, "I never wanted to live with you anyway. It was my mistake. I never loved you." A man has a fundamental perception of life, so when she says something like that, the next day he thinks, "Time to pack my bags and leave." Let's keep learning. Ladies, raise your hand. When a man hurts you, do you feel the urge to say something so painful that it upsets him? And you say those things just because you're hurt. You might say, "I never loved you." A lie. Raise your hand if you've done this. "I never loved you. I'm packing my stuff. I want a divorce." You're weak. You shouldn't say things like that. Men think that if a woman says something, it must be true. But why do women say these things? To get revenge, to hurt him. Because a woman is physically weaker, she can't hurt him physically. So her psyche is wired to hurt emotionally. That's how she pees in his boots. Why do I use this phrase? Because when I was a student, I did psychological experiments on all sorts of creatures, even cats. My mom had a cat at home. At some point, I started spraying her with a syringe. She hated it. She'd hiss. But she respected me as her owner's son. She acted like she didn't notice, but when I pushed her too far, one day I found that my boots smelled like urine. No matter where I hid my boots, the result was always the same. Eventually, I stopped spraying the cat and she stopped peeing in my boots. Later, I realized that peeing in boots is not just for cats. Women do it too sometimes. Because they can't do anything directly and they act like this and it's normal. That means that they say some strange words that don't actually correspond to reality. They just do it out of revenge, because they have no other way to influence the situation. Now we are studying relationships. A conflict means I just don't understand something and that's it. For example, a husband doesn't want to give money. Serious problem. Why doesn't he want to give money? Greedy, stingy beast, I hate him. Why? What's the reason? He doesn't love me? Why doesn't he want to give money? Do you know? Ladies, you see, it's good that you're studying this topic, you're analyzing, but I'll just tell you the formula now. When you understand it, everything will be fine. A man, when he is in the zone of stinginess, doesn't want to do anything for a woman at all. But he has a zone of generosity and he also has a zone of stinginess. If a woman believes that her husband is right, he enters the zone of generosity. If she constantly thinks he is wrong, he stays in the zone of stinginess. In the zone of stinginess, he won't do anything for such a woman. A man generally wants to give his life for a woman. His nature is to give his life for a loved one. Such is the nature of men in general. Will a woman give her life for her husband, for a man? No. Will a man do it? He works hard at his job, gives you his life. He goes to war to fight, gives his life. A man gives his life for a woman. Does he give money to a woman? Easily, just like that, and forgets about it. Men's money. A man's strength comes from the energy of air, and the energy of air gives a woman slenderness. A slender woman has the energy of air, meaning she is strong. The energy of air goes into a man's muscles, while for women it goes into slenderness.
Is generosity the main thing?
An important question, right, ladies? Money. Let's talk about money. There is women's money and there is men's money. Women's money is useful for whom? A woman or a man?
For a woman.
Only for a woman. But are you sure it is useful? You don't know.
They say that women's money is bad for a man.
Of course. Do you know why? Because if he spends your money on himself, you will never forget it. You will remember it all your life. Do you agree? Your money. You earned this money and he took it and spent it. Right, ladies?
He considered it his own.
He considered it his own, but you can't forget it. You go to bed and think, how could he even do that? Women's money is hot. A woman, when she has a lot of her own money, she earned it herself. Does this help in family life?
No.
No, she thinks about it, what to do now. I earned a lot. But we won't buy anything together. I'll only buy for myself. If I buy a lot for myself, then it will somehow be strange. What should I do? I certainly won't buy anything for him. Women's money causes such problems. She goes crazy when she has earned it. Now men's money. Will a man remember if a woman spent his money? No, he forgets everything immediately, right? Men's money is light and cold, women's is hot. A woman likes to spend a man's money so much, she loves it. She feels so good, she spends it and thinks, oh, how nice. But when she spends her own money, she worries, what if it's not right? I won't spend it correctly, then I won't have it, right? But men's money is easy to spend, right?
What if the husband asks where you spent it?
It's offensive, very offensive. So it's better not to have this woman's money at all.
What does that mean?
What does it mean?
When a husband asks for a report.
It means that he doesn't understand the danger of female nature. Okay, fine. So, for a husband to be in the zone of generosity, you simply need to always show him by your appearance that he is right.
We don't necessarily have to think so.
Do you think a man wants you to think so?
Who knows?
It's important to him that you say he's right, that you agree with him.
This is how it happens with us, he speaks. Then I speak. And then I see this thing in others and understand he was right. He starts to get angry and says, you need someone else to understand that I was right.
That's it. That's correct. You need to understand immediately, instantly. Do you want a man beside you at all? You know, when a woman has a man, she immediately becomes calm. Do you know about this? Like hens running around clucking, they are constantly bustling. The rooster crows once, they all stop, everything calms down for a few seconds, then it starts again. And if a hen has been with a rooster, she just sits, she lays an egg and calms down, sits peacefully. There are no problems at all. Male energy calms a woman, she feels peaceful. When there's a husband, whatever he may be, she's calm. No husband, she's anxious. But you can also be happy with your husband. But for this, you need to be reasonable. And here it's very important for a woman to understand that she will always get what she needs in life from a man. She will get everything she needs, because interests are different. A man needs to control women. After marriage, she should be subordinate to a man for the rest of her life and nothing more is needed. She should agree with him. I'll give a simple paradoxical example. The husband says, we will save money, accumulate. What should you say? Yes, my dear. That's it. He enters the zone of generosity. He says, she's so cool. She comes up and says, we need diapers for the baby. Of course, no problem. And then a month passes.
We're not saving anymore?
Yes, we are saving, yes, because a man controls the situation conceptually, but as a result, who spends less money over the month? Women giggled. Well, I'll ask you a question now. Does a man forget his desires or not? There are wise women here. If a man wants something, will he forget it?
Yes.
Yes, he will gradually forget. Does a woman forget her desires?
No.
She will always want it, and it's impossible to do anything about it. Therefore, if you marry a woman, you need to understand that women have a zone of burning desires. This is a dangerous zone for family life, and for every woman, it doesn't change throughout her life. For men, the dangerous zone is bad habits. That means that bad habits are very difficult for a man to get rid of throughout his life. He will always suffer his whole life. For a woman, the dangerous zone is the zone of burning desires. What is this zone? For example, a woman really wants to have a dog at home. The man thinks, I'll marry her and gradually get rid of the dog. Will he get rid of the dog? No. Because she will leave together with the dog. Another woman, for example, wants to talk with her friends for an hour every day. It's a zone of burning desires. She can't live without it. Will he be able to forbid her from doing this? No. A third woman wants to have jewelry. She won't stop wanting it. The fourth one likes to constantly buy new dresses. Will she stop wanting that? No. The fifth one likes to travel. She needs to constantly pack up and go somewhere, just to go. Am I making this up about them? Let's figure it out. Who among the women desperately wants to have a dog or a cat at home and you can't live without it? Raise your hand. You see, I'm not making this up. Next, who wants to talk with friends so much that you go crazy? Look, they're raising their hands. Who likes jewelry? You really want jewelry? There are women who want to be alone and go crazy if they're not alone. We need to study two more desires. Travel. Which of you ladies constantly want to travel? Who wants sweets and goes crazy for them? Who wants children? And so on. So female nature is like this. She has unrestrained desires. A man has a goal. Every man has a purpose in life. He needs to strive for something. If a man doesn't strive for anything, it means he's dying, destroying his life. Male birth is created for achieving goals. If a woman doesn't support a man's goal, does he think that she loves him? No. Do you understand, ladies? Now, ladies, separate in your mind agreement and your opinion. Suppose a man says, we will save money. You say, yes, my dear. Does he need your opinion? No. Have you understood this? He wants you to agree because it means that you love him. That's how he understands whether you love him or not. Let's say he climbed out on a limb, became a rooster, and is crowing there, let's say, proclaiming some truth, telling his own version according to his understanding. How should a woman behave? You should agree. Yes, my dear. And then what will happen to him? He will enter the zone of generosity. Then he agrees with everything, loves you, allows you everything, because you prove to him that you love him. Why do mistresses appear? Mistresses appear when a woman doesn't give a man the opportunity to use the energy of her beauty. But for a man to see a woman's beauty, he must see that she is subordinate to him. If she is not subordinate to him, then she doesn't transmit beauty to him. When a woman doesn't transmit beauty, the man lacks the energy of beauty. A strong deficit occurs, and then other women feel this deficit because he has a strong reaction. When a man lacks the energy of beauty, he reacts to other women. How an unmarried woman catches a man. She looks here and there, showing her beauty, and then she notices a man who reacted. She immediately studies, married or not, how much he earns, what kind of character he has, whether he has bad habits or not. She immediately starts to gather information about him. Is that right or not? Does she need to get acquainted with him to gather information? No. It's enough for her that he reacts to her. That's it. She starts gathering information, and she already considers him as her man. This is my man, she thinks. And now I'll tell you how such a woman perceives the wife of this man. It's a simple childish joke. One boy came in a new fur coat. His father says, where did you get this fur coat from? I found it on the street. The father says, let's go, show me where such fur coats are scattered on the street. He went there and saw a man lying on the ground, undressed and drunk. Here, the boy says, I found it here. Right here? On this man? The father asks, yes, he was tangled in this fur coat. I barely untangled him. That means this woman who sees that a man loves her sincerely believes and is absolutely convinced that his wife got tangled in her fur coat, along with her children. Every woman has this reaction, my dears. You can't do anything about it at all. That's how the psyche works. If a man loves her, then she thinks this is her man. That's it. She doesn't think it could be any other way. She only needs one thing now, just one thing. When he looks at her, she needs only one thing. What does she want now? She wants him to prove that he loves her because she has doubts. She still has doubts. And when he starts, for example, to get down on his knees, give flowers, saying, "I love you, my darling," she thinks for a long time and then says, "You have a wife with a child." He says, "No, we didn't love each other." He immediately starts to pull the wool over her eyes. Do you think she shakes it off? No, because she wants to believe. And when she has a lot of wool pulled over her eyes, she is convinced that he never loved, he is unhappy, and needs help. As a result, she becomes a mistress, and the husband leaves his wife. Not to get into this vicious circle, the wife should know how to make sure that a man does not lack the energy of love. This shortage occurs if a woman is not faithful to her husband. Faithfulness doesn't mean physical fidelity. Faithfulness means a woman agrees with her husband. If a woman believes her husband is right and agrees with him, then her energy of love and beauty flows to him. He sees this energy and considers her beautiful. When a woman looks at her husband this way, that's when she is beautiful. But if she looks at him in some other way, she is not beautiful. Men, am I saying something wrong?
Everything is correct.
You're losing men because you lack wisdom. He doesn't need your opinion. He needs you to obey and listen. For example, when you tell a child, "Let's do homework," do you really need their opinion on whether they want to do it or not? You need them to listen to you. Go and do it. The same applies to women. If she doesn't obey, it means she doesn't love. If she obeys, it means she loves. That's it. That's how a man's system works. If she loves me, I enter a zone of generosity. It becomes easy for me to earn money for her, easy to live for her. I won't leave her. A man's sense of responsibility is also born only in relation to the woman who loves him. And loving means considering him right, respecting him. What does respect for a woman mean? To consider her good. Even if she drives you crazy, she's still good. If she's good, it means she's loved. If she sees that her husband considers her good, it means he loves her. If he considers her not good, it means he doesn't love her. There is air and there is temperature. Sometimes there's not enough prana, it becomes stuffy. Sometimes it's both stuffy and cold, then it's already a stalemate situation. So we're talking about conflicts. I'm telling you some simple, elementary things that people mostly don't do. And because of these simple things, they destroy their families. Just simple things. No energy, no relationship. We sit completely frozen, or we sit agitated, or we sit in pessimism. We feel no love. We're disappointed in each other. These are simply energetic things, or philosophical. Call it whatever you want. We never loved each other. We're so incompatible. And then we simply went to the swimming pool, swam together, and became compatible. Walked in the park together, became compatible. The next topic, we don't understand each other. There are rules that must be followed, otherwise there will be conflicts, because you can't ignore a person's nature. When a woman is born, she is born so that everyone considers her good. If she's bad, no one will love her. People only love good people, no one loves bad people. Therefore, she needs to be good, otherwise the purpose of life is not fulfilled. That's why she smiles at everyone, always behaves carefully. That means that women always want to be good, because otherwise there is no love, no life. A woman is born for love, for relationships. A man is born for victory, for overcoming difficulties. Therefore, a man should not be put in a state of disappointment in himself. A woman should not be put in a state of disappointment in herself. If you prove to a woman that she is bad, she starts saying, "I am bad, I am bad." If a woman speaks about herself this way, she cannot be a normal person, cannot live normally. She will be unattractive, unhappy, lonely, sick. Everything in her life will fall apart. A woman should not consider herself bad, otherwise her life will be destroyed. If a man believes he is a failure, he is convinced of it, it has been proven to him, then his life is over, because he has no reason to live. A woman lives for harmony, for love. A bad person cannot love. Therefore, if she believes she is bad, she has no reason to live on. If a man believes he is a failure, there's no reason to live. That's it. There can be no love, no relationship. He will simply drink himself to death. How does a man kill himself? By putting a gun to his temple? Few people kill themselves that way. How does a man kill himself? He drinks, sometimes takes drugs, or starts having indiscriminate sexual relations with women. Sometimes there can also be gambling, mainly drinking, the most common option. Why does a man drink? Because there is no love. He needs to forget. He must get peace of mind. He falls into despair when he feels that he is not considered capable. Men often also suffer from serious illnesses and tension. To prove that he is strong, a man works like a donkey. Let me now tell you, ladies, one psychological point that will surprise you. Look, when your husband comes home from work very tired, who is he working for? Do you know? For you. You know this. When he's very tired and says, "I'm very tired." Ladies, you don't need to answer me. Just diagnose yourself. Does a feeling of pity arise in your heart, or do you like it? It's good that he's tired. You like that he's tired. A man doesn't know about this. He says, "I'm tired." Women like it. Now I'll tell you another childish joke. A cat fell into alcohol. And when his owner was squeezing him, he pressed a little too hard, and the cat died. He wanted to squeeze more alcohol out of the cat, but the cat died. Who do you think lives longer, a woman or a man? A woman. Why? Because the cat died. Only it's not a cat anymore, but your husband. Do you know, ladies, that men only get sick in intensive care? Do you know about this? A man doesn't feel that he is under tension. He doesn't feel it, just suddenly, sharply, he dies. But some men feel that they can't live like this anymore. And what do they do then? A man runs off to another woman who feels sorry for him. Therefore, ladies, I'll tell you one thing. Often your families are destroyed by a lack of understanding of you and your nature, because your desires need to be stretched over time. Do you understand? For example, you want more living space. If you want it right now, your husband will end up in intensive care. And he won't even notice how it happens. He will work more because the family needs it. You will prove to him that it's really necessary, and he will work. What's the result? Will there be love in your family? He will be tense due to work. If your husband comes home being tense, it's your desire that forces him. Your desire, not his. Because he doesn't need to work that much. He only needs to be considered strong and responsible. That's his goal. There was a children's cartoon called Am I a Chief? About a male sparrow and a female sparrow. About sparrows. Do you remember it? Chief means boss in English. Am I a chief? And she says, "Chief, chief." That's what it's about. Am I a chief? That means, am I the boss or not? That's what a man always asks a woman every second. And what should she say? You're the boss.
So we should say, maybe let's think about it.
I'll tell you, I'll answer very simply. Whether you correctly fulfill your desire in the family, it can be measured by your husband's well-being.
But what if he said that people have been accumulating this for generations, and I want everything quickly?
It doesn't matter who said what. What matters is how he feels when he comes home from work.
But he works from home.
Well, okay, how does he feel when he gets up from the computer? If he gets up and has no energy for you, for love, for the relationship, if he's exhausted, then you need to calm down. Otherwise, your family will fall apart or he'll end up in intensive care. And that will be even worse because if you break a man, he'll become disabled. And do you need a disabled person?
I'm not breaking him.
I'm not breaking him. It's not my fault. He is to blame.
No, I'm not insisting. I say, just look at it this way.
Of course, you're not insisting. That's what I'm talking about. Regulate your desires. If you want to preserve your family, regulate your desires, because this is an invisible problem for women. When a woman wants too much, she needs to remember the fairy tale, the fisherman and the golden fish. What was the result? Everything went back to how it was. It's good that her man didn't leave her.
What if a woman earned everything herself?
That's even more dangerous. She tells him, "What do I need you for? I earned everything myself. Get out." This is very dangerous too. Therefore, a woman should always measure her desires against her husband's fate. Whatever is destined by fate, that's good. You need to be modest, at least a little bit. Otherwise, either he leaves or gets overstrained. This is a difficult topic for women. When your husband comes home very tired, you should catch yourself thinking that I'm killing him. If you feel that it's great that he's tired, it means you're killing him. You just need to note this thought for yourself. Similarly, when a man asks for too much sex from a woman, when he starts to force her, he is also killing her love too, because she feels that she's just being used. She gradually begins to lose happiness in her relationship with him. She starts feeling disgusted with him. She feels aversion and so on. This develops gradually. Therefore, a man violates a woman in a sexual relationship, and a woman violates a man with her desires. Violence is what creates conflict and destroys a relationship, so you need to be very careful in this matter. So, we've discussed a lot. Now I want to talk to you about a very important event. We still have a third topic. We haven't talked about it yet. We've only touched on part of it, the zone of conflicts. This is lack of energy. The other is misunderstanding each other. We'll continue tomorrow. And the third is the spiritual component of life. Misunderstanding the purpose of human life also causes conflict. And this is also a serious problem. Most people usually know nothing about it. When I came here, many people strongly asked me to conduct a retreat on the third day about overcoming fate. Raise your hand, who really wants this? And the rest simply don't know what it is. That's why I'll explain a little now. There is a certain methodology for overcoming fate. It solves all questions. How to make a loved one return. For example, many people have relatives fighting in the war. How to ensure they stay alive. It really works. This is not a joke. There are many things that can be achieved through prayer. But most people don't know how to set themselves up for it, how to make prayer work, and that's why I conduct these retreats on overcoming fate. We spend about 40 minutes on preparation. I explain what needs to be done. Then the retreat itself lasts 65 minutes. People either stand near the wall or sit. That means you need to stay motionless for 65 minutes and repeat the prayer, Hallelujah. A choir sings, I guide people on how to tune into the sound to maintain concentration, and then we have a debriefing. This is a very important practice. If you have never done it in your life, don't understand how to do it, then you are missing out on a lot in your life. Because there are real ways to solve life issues through prayer when there are no other possibilities left. Therefore, our last day will be on Saturday. We will have a retreat dedicated to overcoming fate. And it won't be in this hall because we can't repeat Hallelujah so loudly here. We will do it in another hall. And so I invite you all to come to this retreat. And now if something is unclear to you, ask questions. Raise your hands to ask specifically about the topic of the lecture. Your question, miss?
I'm interested in the question of money. What to do with hot money?
I'll answer you. You'll really like the answer. The first option is emergency. Do you know what that is? It means urgent necessity, an ambulance. Well, there are situations when you need to urgently spend money on something important. And a woman understands this very well, and she can choose, according to her own desire, this area where something is urgently needed. For example, some attributes in the apartment, an improved refrigerator, a washing machine, something else. She will gladly buy it and be happy. The second option is, of course, sweets. A woman can spend her money on small expenses when she wants to buy cakes. She doesn't necessarily have to ask her husband. She just buys it with her own money and happily eats this cake. But the best option that will suit any woman, which will bring her happiness, is to save money to increase her living space. Great, right?
No, I'm not inspired to save money for an apartment.
No? Why? Well, you just save money for a rainy day because a woman is very afraid of the future. A woman has fear of the future. She's afraid of being left alone, afraid that something will be lacking. And when she's saving money, she feels calm. She feels that everything is fine with her. But this can be done in the case when the husband earns well and she also works. And if the husband doesn't earn enough and the family's short of money, then you'll have to share. You'll have to work. This, of course, leaves such an imprint because a woman has two powers. One is called the blessing power. This is an enormous energy that lives in a woman. Women, for the most part, don't know about it. This power only works when she agrees with her husband. If a woman has fully received this knowledge, she understands there are no contradictions with her desires. If she tells her husband, "You're right in everything. You are senior. I am subordinate to you." If she behaves like this, she will still get everything in life. And then she also invests so much in her husband that he will become strong and will earn well. Because only a woman can make a man strong, no one else can make him strong. Either a mother or a wife, even a daughter can believe in her father and he will become strong because of her. And the second option, if a woman doesn't have enough internal energy to respect her husband so much that he would earn a lot, then she begins to behave incorrectly and starts working herself. A woman should work in order to develop socially. She should simply do something for society because she wants to live and doesn't want to just sit in a burrow and not stick her head out. A woman gets depressed from this. She also needs to be noticed, loved by everyone, and appreciated. She needs relationships, that's why she works. This is one form of self-expression because in ancient culture, women didn't work for money. They raised children, helped the elderly, took care of everyone, so they showed social activity and created harmony in society. Female energy creates harmony. And men worked, fought wars, did all that. And now it's difficult for a woman to realize herself because there is no unity in society, no communities, no communal thinking where women could strongly express themselves. Now people only express themselves at work, so where can women go? They need to work. Work provides money. You need to save it. If there is a need, a woman decides for herself. There is one simple way to decide what to do with a woman's money. If you decide yourself to spend it on something, then you won't have a guilty conscience. You decide yourself, I want to spend on this. No problem. This is the solution to the issue.
The first power is blessing. And what is the second power?
And the second is achieving. A woman's achieving power is very weak. If she goes to work, she gets tired. It's difficult for her. If she does it for money, it's difficult for her, humiliating to live. But if she does it for pleasure, then she doesn't think about money. For example, my wife, if she conducts some dance training or she gives lectures, people gather there and money is earned. She feels sick at the very thought of taking this money for herself. She immediately gives it to good causes. She wants to give away her money. She really likes to give it to the temple or in some other way. That's how female nature works.
And if, let's say, there is a situation where a woman earns more, at some point, a woman may earn more. Is there some potentially dangerous situation in this?
Yes, potentially dangerous for women. Because if a woman earns more, she still needs to consider that her husband is the head, to respect him. Otherwise, the very structure of love is destroyed. And when she earns more, it's very difficult for her to consider him as the head, that he is better, that he knows more. She starts to be capricious. Along with money, a woman gets a destructive feeling of dissatisfaction with her husband. And then discord begins in the family.
And from a man's point of view, how can he adjust this balance? The situation needs to be corrected.
He has to work himself to death. Look, if a man earns less, you should know that sometimes if a woman puts her blessing power into work and not into her husband, then according to her fate, if she is meant to be rich, she easily earns money. A woman can sometimes earn money so easily. And if she easily earns money and a man sees that he earns less, then an internal program activates in him, which leads to his death. That means he needs to overexert himself and die.
So only a woman can solve this situation?
Yes, she created it and she can solve it because a woman earns a lot only for one reason. She doesn't need to support the family, she doesn't need something else. She only needs to satisfy her desires. If for this reason she starts earning a lot, then she destroys the family. Either she needs to do something with her desires, or she launches this program for her husband, leading to his death. He starts to work himself to death because he may never be able to earn as much as she earns.
Can prayer help in this case?
Prayer always helps because prayer is the energy of God. There is fate and there is mercy. If according to fate he is not meant to earn more than his wife, then there is mercy, which can give this opportunity. But in general, this is a woman's problem because a woman should direct her energy to her husband. It's better for her. If the husband earns, she doesn't need to do anything, then she feels great. But if she hasn't invested in him, that means she doesn't believe in him, doesn't say, "You are the best, the strongest," but simply oppresses him, constantly criticizes him, mocks him, and earns a lot at the same time, then she simply ruins him. If you have such a wife, then you need to fix the situation in a kind way. You don't need to solve it with divorce. Always when a loved one is wrong, it is solved with kindness, with the help of knowledge. Help your loved one solve the situation, inspire them. But when a man sees that a woman earns more and he wants to work harder, he simply doesn't know how success comes into a person's life. Money is a derivative of success. What comes first, success or money? First success, then money. So success always comes from devoutness. This is the power of devoutness. People mostly think that this is the power of professional skill. Many people become managers. They may have many certificates. Will all of them be good managers? No. And who will? Those who have a lot of devoutness. Devoutness is the power of good deeds that you did. This power raises your social level because there is a power that connects you with people and gives strength in relationships with people. This power is called devoutness. This is very difficult to understand. I will explain to you. There are 3 types of success: money, power, and fame. 3 types of success. Some people consider it success when they have a lot of money. Others consider it success if they have a lot of power. And the third group considers it success if they have a lot of popularity, fame. There are only 3 categories of people. This doesn't mean that if there is money, there won't be power. Some people first have money, then power, fame. Some first have power, then money and fame. The third group first has fame, and then money and power. People who want money have only 2 energies working. One energy is called greed or desire for money, and the second energy is the desire to take care of people. When a person wants money badly, they have both of these energies. If a person really wants money, they are generous by nature. Generous means wanting to feed people, help them so that they have prosperity. Nature works this way, and when a person's greed is stronger, there will be no money, because everyone feels violence from them trying to buy something from them. If a person wants money, they will trade or do some business. If people feel violence from this business, they won't buy. But if they feel benefit, then they will buy. Benefit always comes from a person's desire to care. For example, you go to a computer store. Some try to push a computer on you while others say, "Let me help you buy it." To the extent that they might even take you to another store and help you buy there, and you think, "Wow," and now you will always come only to them. And still, in the end, they will have more sales. Maybe not right away, but definitely later. Their generosity is greater. They simply want to help people. At the same time, their goal is still money, but they enjoy helping people. And to destroy greed and increase generosity, people feed the poor, birds, help someone, take care of others. Because in this process, your generosity increases and greed decreases. The same goes for power. There are also 2 forces there. One force, you subjugate people to your will, exploit them, and the second, you take care of them. For example, one manager asked me, "Dr. Torsunov, I have such a problem. If I give people more money, they become impudent, and if I pay less money, they become fierce. What should I do?" Indeed, he doesn't understand what to do. I said, "The issue of managing people is not in the sphere of money, but in the sphere of your protection of these people." He said, "Please explain." I said, "It's very simple. For example, a person got sick. You go to their home without telling anyone about it. And you say, 'I have a good doctor. I'll pay for the treatment myself. Don't tell anyone anything. I just want to help you. You're a very good employee.' You take one action, and then for many years this person will work for you, and they will no longer be motivated by money. They will be motivated by relationships, a sense of protection. Respect for the person is needed. Interest in their life, desire to help. For example, not letting them go to prison, using your connections, saving the person, helping, and then the person will no longer be motivated by money, but the motivation to work will remain. Let me give an example. A person says, "I'm not leaving this company even though they pay little. I really like it there. I'm comfortable there. They love me there, and it's stable. I know they won't fire me there." Such a concept also exists. Fame means being useful. Money means helping people. Power means being interested in people, protecting them. Fame means being useful, doing some good. Of course, there can be good and useful deeds, and there can be sinful ones. For example, there are very famous people who have created blogs where they show their butt, or for instance, fight each other wearing peacock feathers, or show some other nonsense. People just crack up, laugh, and therefore there's high traffic. What do you think? Will a person go up or down for being famous and receiving money in such a way? What will be the result? They will go to hell. Because the person ignites sinful desires in people's hearts instead of inspiring good things. Just like earning money on vodka, for example, it's the same thing. Thank you all very much. I wish you all peace, happiness, love, all the best in your life. To learn more on the subject of health and healing of the body, please make sure to read my health guide, available for download on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram page. Thank you very much and see you soon.